Okay, hi guys, and welcome to my second tutorial on Java Swing. Um, so I'm just gonna be doing these tutorials and trying to improve with every tutorial I'll make, and any feedback is appreciated. So please tell me what you think and what I could improve and if I'm good or not. And please like my videos, I guess, if you like them, of course. And if you want to subscribe, then subscribe. If you want to be kept up to date with my tutorials. Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to be going over JButtons and JLabels. We're also going to be going over action listeners. Or you know what, I'm not going to be doing JLabels. I'll see if I have time in the end. Okay, so what a JButton is well, a normal button. The reason that they put a J in front of it is probably because it stands for Java. Now, we're going to be doing a JButton pretty much the same way that we did our JFrame. We're going to be saying JButton. We're going to name it equals new JButton instead of JFrame. Whoops, it is. And then in our parentheses, we're going to put quotation marks and what the button is going to say. So, let's go ahead and get started. JButton. We're gonna name it B1 equals new JButton. And in our parentheses, we're gonna be putting quotation marks. Don't forget the semicolon. And what the button is gonna say. Let's just put click me. Now, one thing that we always have to keep in mind in Swing is that every time you say that you have you create a new JButton or a JLabel or a J text field or anything, you have to put it somewhere. You have to put it somewhere in your whatever you want it in, and of course we want it in our frame, which we call F. It's pretty much like that you want a ball in your garden, and you buy the ball, and you still need to tell it. You still need to put it somewhere. You need it to put it in your garden. It's not just about buying the ball. So it's pretty much the same concept with Java. Wow, sorry about that sound. It's my computer. If you actually heard it. Okay, so we're gonna be doing F, since that's the name of our JFrame. F.add, and in our parentheses the name of our button, which was B1. So we're telling F, telling F, which is our JFrame, to add B1, which is our new JButton. Okay, so F add B1. Okay, so if we save this and run it, we can see that we have a new button called Click Me. And we can click it, nothing will happen because we haven't put any action listeners to it. I'll go over that in a second. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you guys is just a little trick, or I guess it's a trick. Just a few things that people are usually annoyed by is that when they run their program, it pops up in this corner, and they are annoyed by it because they want it to pop up in the center of the screen. So there's actually quite an easy fix for that. Just put F or whatever the name of your JFrame is, and set relative to set location relative to null. Now what this is doing is it's saying F, well, your JFrame, set the location of it relative to nothing, to null. So it's not relative. It's not in this corner. It's not gonna be in this corner. It's not gonna be on any side. It's just gonna be null. It's just gonna be in the middle. So if we save this and run it, it will actually just pop up in the middle. So that's a small little trick, I guess. Okay, so now another thing that I wanted to tell you guys is the different layouts in Java. So since this button is actually taking up all the space, it's actually gonna be really annoying because every time we want to add another button or anything else, only one button is going to show at a time, because they're all going to take the entire space. This is because we haven't initialized any layout for our JFrame. So what we're going to do is we're going to go f dot, since f is our JFrame, we're going to be set layout in our parentheses new flow layout, and two parentheses, don't forget the semicolon. Now the two parentheses is just pretty much because it's a function, I guess, and there's many layouts that you can choose from, including card layout and so on, but I'm not going to be covering those in this tutorial. We're just going to be going by flow layout, which pretty much cramps everything up to as small space as is required without looking very funky. So if you run it right now, you can see that the button is just taking up enough space that it should, and it's in the top, so it's not just in the middle or anything like that. This means that we can add as many buttons as we want, I guess, and they will all fit on the screen. Okay, so what we want to do now, once we have our button, is actually to do something with it, because it's not useful to have a button with nothing to do with it, right? So what we're going to want to do is to add a action listener to it. An action listener is actually something that will listen. Well, as its name implies, it's going to be listening for an action, which is key press on the button. So first of all, we want to import. So import javax.swing.event, and everything in event. I like to keep it simple and just import everything in what I need, because Java is still just going to be using the ones that I need. It's not going to be wasting any computer power or energy on searching through the other ones, or running the other ones rather. So we're going to be importing Java Swing event because we want to add the action listener, and once the key is pressed, we want the event to happen, right? Okay, so we're just going to be going v1.add_action_listener, and we're going to be going new action listener. And now here's a problem that occurs a lot of times, especially in Eclipse, is that it will automatically fill up the two parentheses for you. This will mean that you have three parentheses, which you actually don't want in this situation, because that will give you an error. So you just delete the last one, so you have two parentheses. And hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. My sister was calling me. I just had to go and see what it was. Okay, so where was I? Right. So we're gonna be going b1.add_action_listener in parentheses new action listener, and this is where it looks tricky, because if we look at for example this piece of code, we actually have three parentheses, and it kind of looks a bit funky to only have two in the end, but that's actually how it's gonna be. Now we're gonna want to put one of these opening yeah, I actually don't know what the name of these are. Sorry, my English is really not great, especially not Java English. So we're just gonna be opening this new piece of, well, space, I guess you call it. And now we're gonna want to be it's strange that it wants me to right. So it wants you to import java.awt, the event, the action listener, which was actually my fault. It's actually importing java.awt event too, not just the Java Swing event. Okay, so once we have this, it's really simple in Eclipse. Just add unimplemented methods, and it's just going to be adding everything for you. the action listener, and so on. And this will give you this new piece of code. And this, inside this, is gonna be where you will putting everything. You will be putting everything that's gonna happen once the button is pressed. This might seem like a bit hard to understand at first, but once you get used to it, it's actually really easy, and I'm gonna be going over it generally again, just so you understand it. Now you're gonna be getting an error here. You just have to end pretty much the parentheses, and then put a semicolon, and that will not give you any error. Now once we have this, I just like to keep things neat like that. Once we have all this, we can start programming what we want the button to do. So this is B1, right? Referring to our button. We're adding the action listener. And in that action listener, we can actually even delete this. And in that action listener, we have action performed. Now, you need to understand all this, I guess. I mean, you pretty much understand just by reading it, but don't get into too much just thinking about it, because it will look confusing at first, but it's actually easy once you get used to it. So inside here is going to be what we want our button to do once the action is pressed, once the action happens, once it's pressed, since it has the action listener. Okay, so I'm just for the sake of the tutorial, I'm gonna be going system.out.println and just be going you pressed the button. Okay, so what we're saying now is that we're adding a button, and we're adding a action listener to it, saying you pressed the button every time the button is pressed. Okay, so once we go ahead and run this, we have click me, the button, and once we press it, you can see in our console window here, it actually says you press the button as many times as we do it. Okay, now I'm just gonna go ahead and clear this, and I think actually that's about it for this tutorial, going over action listeners and JButtons. So thanks for watching, guys. I'm trying to improve everything, and any feedback is appreciated. So thanks for watching.